In this week's episode, we're learning how to make the 7-layer Hungarian cake. Hi, I'm Aki Da Silva and this is Living Da Silva Loco. Welcome to my channel. If it's your first time here, thank you. This week we're making the 7-layer Hungarian cake with my friend Marjo. She's back. Yes, remember she did the Finnish salmon dish that was really popular. So I have invited her back and I'm so excited. This is my birthday weekend and so I asked her about a cake and she told me about the 7-layer Hungarian cake, which sounds like very complicated. However, she guarantees me that it's not very complicated. So she's going to actually teach me how to make it in this episode and hopefully you enjoy. You stick around and you'll enjoy the episode. Hi Marjo, how are you?
I'm good, Marky. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much again. This week we are going to be making a Hungarian cake. And when you showed me a photo of it, I'm like, yeah, I want that cake. So we're here and that's what we're going to make. What are the ingredients that we need for this cake?
This is a cake that's called Dobos Torta. So it's D-O-B-O-S. That's the Dobos part of it. And Torta is T-O-R-T-E. And it's basically a cake with thin but very fluffy light layers of what I guess you might call a sponge cake, but it's a lot more delicate.
So I'll put in a box up here a photo just as reference.
Okay. It's the kind of cake that you could really impress your friends with, maybe even your enemies if you had those coming together. It's not a hard cake to make. You need an electric mixer. Mine broke, so I'm using a hand whisk today. To make the cake layers, you need egg whites from 7 eggs, 10 egg yolks. The original recipe that I got calls for 3.5 cups of...
Hi, John. John is behind you.
Hi, Marky.
Hi.
John. For this recipe, I'm going to do 2.25 cups of confectioner sugar, 3/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour,
Okay.
a tablespoon of lemon juice,
Okay.
and 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt.
What do we do first?
Let's whisk the egg yolks a little bit. And now let's add the icing sugar, and that's not a yolk. So I'm gonna go ahead and add 3/4 of a cup of flour now.
I have my lemon juice pre-thing, so I'm just going to add everything in.
Let me see what your bowl looks like. This is what mine looks like.
Oh, yeah, great.
Yeah, perfect. Now that that's done, Marky, what you have to do is whip up your egg whites. And there's a reason why you should do the yolk first before you do the whites. When you whip up egg whites and you let them sit for, say, even 5 minutes, they actually they call it weep. They weep a little bit, they seep out. A little bit of like liquid, like oozy liquid at the bottom. The air that's introduced and that makes it stiff kind of dissipates a little bit. I'll let you whip yours up. Whip it up high until you start to see like they're stiff.
Right.
Lift them so that when you lift them, the peaks actually retain their shape. If they kind of bend, then they're not ready.
Okay, so here I go. I'm just going to whip.
Can you see
Yes.
that?
Yeah.
So here's a trick. If you ever get any grease in your egg whites, they're not going to stiffen up. But if you put a little bit of lemon juice, if you introduce like acid into it, it's a good fix for it. Because I didn't have a mixer, I just want a little bit of help to get them to stiffen up faster. So I added cream of tartar. It comes with it's got the dispenser with the little holes on top. So that you basically just shake it over the bowl. Now what you do is you take about this much egg whites, like that.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more. And then you just like fold it into the egg yolk. Once you fold in the egg whites, it'll get kind of more springy. It needs to look kind of like really nice and fluffy. The recipe says to flour the size of your pan. I actually don't bother, but you could. I probably should have.
I generally do.
Yeah. So you want it to be like, spread the batter like a 1/4 inch thick.
Okay.
And you're going to bake, depending on how hot your oven is, you're going to bake it for about 5 minutes. Because you're going to bake several layers of this. So I'm putting mine in my cake pans. I'm kind of measuring it so that they're the same thickness. On green size, I'm going to take an offset spatula.
Okay.
And just spreading it out. So Marky, this is
Yeah.
what it looks like. I've left an edge of it like not spread out, so you see how thick it is. This is about a quarter of an inch thick the way this is. Yeah. I'm gonna put mine in the oven and set my timer for 5 minutes. We'll do the cakes and then we'll take a break until the cake's cool. And then we'll do the icing. And then the good thing is once we've done the icing, we'll assemble the cake. Marky?
Yeah.
Are you gonna tell me how old you are? Gonna be?
Oh my god. It's a secret. 2 first cakes are ready.
Yeah.
You check to make sure that they're actually done.
The edges are going to be just slightly, there's going to be a little bit of like golden around the edges. Just make sure that there's no sort of visible wet spots and just give it a touch. It'll feel spongy.
Living the Silva Loca, it's a channel about cooking and baking with friends around the world. Our segment, Up Close, looks at the recipe behind each culture. And in this week, we're looking at the Hungarian culture. We have like all the layers that we have baked.
Technically what's going to happen is my cake will have 6 layers. And the reason for that is I'm going to take the thinnest layer of all.
Okay.
And I'm going to use that to pour a caramel over it. And that'll be the sort of decoration. The picture that you saw has some caramel things on it. It's an optional. Traditionally, the cake has that caramel topping.
We're going to prepare the cake, put the cake together first, and then...
We're going to do the caramel first because that needs to cool.
Okay.
And then while that's being done, we'll do the cake at the same time. I've taken the thinnest layer of cake and I've peeled off the parchment paper. You're going to see what we're going to do with this. It's pretty cool. Catherine?
Catherine is Marshall's daughter.
We're going to do it now and then you can tell me what you think. We're going to need some sugar. I use an organic cane sugar. 3/4 of a cup. I'm going to add to that 1.5 tablespoons of water. You need something that you to put the cake on as well, because when the caramel is done, you're going to pour the caramel over the cake. Whatever you're putting it on has to be able to withstand the heat. Turn on the stove.
Okay. Medium?
You want it a little higher, and then you're going to turn it low after. So once the caramel starts to simmer,
right,
to avoid it from crystallizing,
right,
she takes a little bit of water and she basically brushes the sides of the pan. That prevents it, for whatever reason, prevents it from forming crystals. So it's going to start to simmer like that. She's going to turn on the heat because it's starting to crystallize. Yeah, she's going to melt a little more, and then she's going to start using the water. Is it bubbling?
Yeah, it's bubbling.
When it starts to bubble, like just turn the heat down. I'm just kind of like patting it like that. It's pretty much almost ready. Or you want it to be almost like a touch of redness to it. So I'm going to pour this now over the layer.
It's
Very careful, Mark.
It's very liquidy.
Spread it. You can't work with it too much because it'll actually harden very fast. Oh, that's perfect. Actually, yours looks very nice. Put it on a chopping board. I'm going to cut this into wedges. You want to cut it while it's still like soft, otherwise it'll crack. So now I've got it in quarters. It doesn't have to be perfect. The idea is you want a wedge for every slice. So the recipe calls for 2 sticks of butter. I'm going to use 3 when it's kind of like, creamy, and then start beating it up with your, not beating it up, start beating it. Don't beat up your butter. That's butter abuse. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of icing sugar.
What are we doing now?
Add a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Let's get up again. Because this is unsalted butter,
Yes.
I want to put just a little, just like a pinch of salt. Okay, now you can add your chocolate to it. You have 3 egg yolks set aside. We do need that. Have you already added the egg yolks?
Yeah. How long do you whip this for?
Just until it's well combined.
I should show everyone.
Yeah. You show me yours, I'll show you mine. You probably could add a little bit of liqueur to this if you want to, like Cointreau or Grand Marnier. I'm just gonna start icing my layers. You just want to put a little bit of icing on top. Just kind of eyeball it to make sure you have enough for each layer. Okay, so now I've got 1 layer down, 1 layer iced. I'm gonna take out the next one. My advice to you is don't sample it tonight.
Put it in the fridge?
Yeah. Cakes are always better when they've had a chance to chill.
You're asking me to do something impossible, but I will.
I'm gonna check on you tomorrow. I'm expecting to see a whole cake
Yeah,
unpacked.
no, I won't. You're right. It wasn't a difficult cake to bake. I'm adding my last.
Layers.
So we're leaving some of the chocolate to do the sides, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I actually made this the first time for a friend who is Hungarian,
Okay.
and that's what inspired me to make it.
So you have been to Hungary?
You know, I have not been to Hungary. That was a trip that was supposed to happen
Okay.
because of COVID.
Wow, yours look like. Well, mine is like.
I would eat that. With this cake, because it is a high cake, I would likely serve smaller slices.
Not to me, you don't.
Even though it's high,
Right.
it's not a heavy cake. I find any cake with a butter icing, a butter-based icing, you want it to be, you want to leave it out a little. And I'm going to show what we're going to do with the rest of the icing.
I have a bit of a gap that I'm trying to fill.
That's okay.
I'm a good learner.
You are brave enough to try something new. I like that.
Yeah, I was actually quite terrified.
The idea is to just go for it. Icing bag, I just make a little collar like that, hold it over my hand, take the icing that's left, put it a lot, and just put it in there. Pull it back up like that. Let's squish it down. I'm gonna push it down some more, and then I'm gonna cut the tip. I've got 10 caramel wedges. I'm gonna use the balls to I'm gonna decorate my wedges at an angle. 1, 2, you're gonna see what's gonna happen. It's kind of cute actually. I'm just gonna take my caramel wedges and kind of just like break them apart. So I'm just going to, so basically gonna put it like this. Also, the other thing to make it stand is you could also like kind of jam it into the cake like that.
Because it's going in the fridge, so it will be frozen, right?
It'll firm up nicely.
I will just do the one that's flat. It's a little bit too ambitious for me. It looks beautiful. I don't know if I want to attempt to do that though.
You don't have to, right? Like that's a nice thing about I find baking is it's your own creation. So there, so that's my version of the event. And then what I might just likely do is just put a little bit of like chocolate in the middle. A little rough than what I'm used to making.
Oh, it looks incredible.
What do you think?
Fantastic. Okay, I'm going to show you mine in 1 second.
Oh, that's nice.
Can you see that?
I can see it. It's very pretty. It's very pretty.
Marjorie, thank you so much.
That was so much fun.
Yes, that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. You were a really good teacher.
Thank you. You're great. Amazing. Yeah. If I don't see you before your birthday, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy, 35th birthday or 30th?
Yeah, we'll say that.
Maybe we'll have a social distancing coffee.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll definitely be making something together again. And I've never made any cake this difficult. And I was very intimidated by it. It was amazing. So thank you.
Well, Marky, this is really literally it was a piece of cake. Bye.
Bye, Marshall. Thanks. Now that you've learned about how to make the 7-layer Hungarian cake, I really hope that you try it. And if you do, please let me know how yours turned out. And I also have a recommendation of another video that I'd like you to watch, and I'll put the link below. All the links or stores or products that I use in the channel, I will put a link below as well, so that you can get access to those as well. So that's it. That's all I have this week. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for sticking around. Before you go, don't forget to hit the subscription button below, and also hit that bell so that you can be notified whenever I post a new video. Well, until next time, ciao.